What's up, my fellow Spartans? Your dude Sly here, and welcome to my first Halo video in quite some time. I covered Halo 5 when it launched back in the day, and I made, a few news videos, a couple skull videos, guides, and various other things. But if there is one truth when becoming a YouTuber, it's this. Single-player, campaign-style games are very hard to cover over the long term. With games like Destiny, Final Fantasy, World of Warcraft, or PvP multiplayer games like Fortnite, PUBG, Valorant, Apex, etc., there are always updates to follow, expansions to look forward to, news to glean, and hype to plug into. However, single-player campaigns like Halo or Mass Effect, you can follow the hype, or the lead up to launch with news videos and stuff like that, but once it launches, you have about 3 weeks to a month of making videos and guides before the game becomes old news. And then after that, it kind of just dies out. Unless you're into the multiplayer aspect of things, it's hard to keep videos going, and that's what happened with me and Halo Guardians. This time, however, Halo Infinite is following the path of Destiny with a 10-year plan, all set within a single frame of a game, Halo Infinite. Now, there's a ton of reasons why it's easier to update one massive game over and over on a yearly basis rather than make a new one every single time. And while I have not yet decided if I plan on covering Halo like I did with Division, Destiny, or Anthem, I'm pretty pumped for it. And since 343 is making Halo in kind of a different way this time around, all set within a single universe, it might be much easier to cover. So in this video, guys, I wanted to dive into some recent news about Halo Infinite and also talk about the recent reveal. So let's start with the latter. As most of you know, on July 23rd, there was an Xbox Summer Game Reveal, and the Halo Infinite campaign was at its heart. Actually, the very first thing. So there's a lot to be excited about, and some things that make you kind of scratch your head. So before we drop the news, let's talk about 343's goal for Halo Infinite. First off, this 10-year plan for Halo is supposed to be the quote-unquote spiritual successor for Combat Evolved. The landscapes, technology, armor, enemies, all of it are supposed to look like it hopped right out of Master Chief's first game. However, there's kind of a problem. When your engine and your graphics are at the cutting edge, it's hard to use as little as possible to replicate something old. It makes it look just very unfinished. Back in the day, Halo was the best graphics you could get on console, and it pushed their graphics engine to come up with the landscapes of that scale and detail. So while the technology was cutting edge at that time, it was also being used to its max. The opposite is true here. We have cutting edge graphics that are being held back in terms of textures and lighting in order to simulate something old. And like I said, when you try to do that, it just doesn't work that well and things look very unfinished. While Halo Infinite is still months and months away from launch, there's a reason it looks like this. Art and keeping true to form. While some absolutely love the way it looks because it really closely resembles the OG Halo, and I have to admit it really does, the newer gamers, they want eye-popping graphics, frames, and textures. As you can tell from this side-by-side comparison, the link by the way is down below, the original weapons are dead on, and you can see where 343 is trying to go, but the weapon just looks flat. Its edges and lines lacks the showing of depth and detail. Again, I know it was made this way on purpose, but there's a ton of things they could do here to keep it original, but still bump it up to the next level. Now the skyboxes, I have to admit, are pretty good, but as you can see from this image here, there's still so much more they could do texture-wise, yet still keep it in line with their homage to Combat Evolved theme. I'm going to play Halo Infinite regardless of the criticism, and while I appreciate the bold plan to replicate the Halo of old, I have to concede to the fact that the graphics, they do need to be bumped up as well. But that's not the only thing, the audio needs to be fixed too. The in-between moments were just very dull audio-wise. Now I can tell that the FX was there, but the problem is I don't think they have any music there yet, but we'll talk about that here in a second. And one thing I have to absolutely applaud them for though, is their honesty. Too many game studios push out things called vertical slices, pretty much a short demo to show an audience what the game will look like. But it's usually played on an extremely beefy desktop PC with graphics above and beyond what you're going to find within the release version. Microsoft and 343 gave us an honest view of the game, no gimmicks, and I have to applaud them for that. Now there's been a ton of feedback, as I'm sure you could have guessed, so hopefully 343 will take all of this to heart and then make some hard decisions. You can make a spiritual successor to an older game look beautiful while being a graphics powerhouse without ruining the OG feel. I really do hope they find that balance. Alright Spartan, so moving on here. With some gamers angry about 343's decision, the hate and rumor mill has also been exploding in all directions. So let's take a look at some of the things that need to be put to bed along with other general Halo Infinite news. If you haven't yet been able to watch the campaign debut, the link is down below so you know what we're talking about. And first up, multiplayer. Rumors have been circulating that the unfinished look of Halo Infinite meant that multiplayer would not ship at launch. This kind of exploded very, very quickly, and it made a buzz, as you could imagine. Halo was one of the original multiplayer games, so this stirred up all kinds of feelings. However, my friends, this is entirely false. As one of the devs pointed out, nothing to see here. Halo Infinite will ship with multiplayer. Next up, hardware. Now, even though it doesn't matter because the graphics weren't really insane to begin with, besides draw distance and its skybox, this demo was not running on the Series X, but instead in-engine on a PC to simulate an Xbox. Aaron Greenberg also pointed out that there's quite a few months between now and launch, and that Halo is right now an unfinished game. There's still a lot of work to do between then and now, so expect things to only get better. On top of that, another rumor started to circulate saying that other features of the game were not going to be shipped as well because they're so far behind. But again, this is false. Halo Infinite will indeed ship with split-screen co-op, staying true to its older roots. And by the way, in case you haven't seen or heard yet, the box art has been chosen, so this is what you're looking at right here. Alright Spartans, next up, another point of contention about the Halo Infinite premiere was that it was mute, and it really was. In between battle scenes, it just sounded, dull. While sound effects were present, and again, this is pre-alpha, so it's only going to get better, it lacked music and environmental sounds. Once again, I'm sure there's much work to be had within the audio department. However, one huge plus that it has going for it, the audio and music will be scored by a man named Garrett Coker. You might know him as the man that made you cry during Ori and Will of the Wisps. Gareth Coker is an award-winning composer, and it seems he was brought in a bit late, so I'm hoping the reason the gameplay sounded mute was because they were trying to hide the music for launch, or perhaps it's still being composed. Either way, Halo's in good hands music-wise. And finally, as we get towards the end of the video, the last couple things to mention here, wielding weapons. First of which, wielding them Halo 2 style. Fans have been begging for this early Halo feature ever since it was removed in Halo 4 and 5. Well, it has been hinted at by a 343 Halo dev that dual wielding will more than likely be making a return in Halo Infinite. And number 2, the grappling hook. With Halo being set in a sci-fi fictional universe, it's not an unreal universe where different physics are at play here, i.e. double jumping. So to bring back that sort of style, 343 has introduced the grappling hook as their way of traversal. Instead of making high jumps or jetpacks, the grappling hook will be Master Chief's way to navigate the hard to manage terrain, high spaces, secrets, and more. You can see it in action here, but it can be used for more than just traversal, as it is just as deadly as it is handy. And that's about it, y'all. Just a quick rundown of the latest Halo Infinite news. Personally, guys, I'm really excited for it. While I do look forward to seeing and hearing a Halo with much more pizzazz, I am very excited for the PvE aspect. Will Halo take on a campaign similar to Destiny or Anthem, or will it be more like a World of Warcraft where PvE and PvP can be combined or separated by different areas within an open world? I would love to see an open world Halo because that's really what this game begs for. The Halo rings are sophisticated technology, a living world built on a massive substructure. You could have a million different things to explore, tons of hidden lore all around the ring, and even something like a multiplayer PvE experience which explores the infrastructure below the surface. The possibilities are absolutely endless. It would be awesome that once you're playing in-game, you look up at the opposite side of the ring and you could see the different PvP maps. That would be absolutely awesome. However, we're going to have to wait and see which direction 343 decides to go. Either way, I'm on board and excited for the future. But that's about it, guys. Just a quick video rounding up some of the things I noticed during the game reveal, along with the different articles that stirred up afterwards. Now, I haven't decided if Halo Infinite is something that I will be covering over time or just up until launch. But either way, keep a lookout for more Halo videos, as this will definitely not be the last. As always, thank you for watching and for supporting Sly Nation. If you're new to my channel, then welcome Spartan. I hope you enjoyed yourself, and be sure to spank the thumbs up or down if you liked, loved, or hated the video. And if you wish to get in touch, business or otherwise, SlyNationGaming67 at Gmail, or hit me up over on the socials at Sly_Nation on Twitter, Sly Nation Gaming on the FB. Take care, y'all, and keep those eyes open for more Halo Infinite news coming out here soon. But until then, this is your dude Sly, and I'll see you all in the next one.